Hey everybody, Engine Doc back with you again. Got another engine to look at today. We've got a little Standard Cream Separator Engine. And it's got some of the separator on it. It's got the original muffler. And it needs a lot of work. The head bolts are out of it here. These studs that go down through, I think someone has started working on this thing before and tried to take the head off of it, the cylinder and head, and we'll take a look at it here. But anyway, it's quite the project. A lot of the hard to find parts are here, so that's a good thing. It doesn't have a mag. This one didn't come with a mag. It's got a battery ignition. I'll show you that in a little bit. So I just wanted to do an overview of it here and show you what we got, where we're going to start, because I wanted to get this much done, that way I can start soaking it, because it is stuck. This flywheel's loose on there, but the crankshaft is stuck and everything. The valves are stuck. It's just the way I like to find them. So hey, let's have a look at this thing. All right, we rotated it around a little bit here. It's got a kind of a neat looking oiler. It's all one piece down here at the base that goes in, chrome plated, snazzy, and it's got a flyball governor, and it's got an interesting tachometer here. It's got a mark here on it. It says 50. I don't know if that's 50 RPM or what, but anyway, it looks like that. Make sure you can see that. Yeah. Looks like you can engage that into this thread here and probably set the speed. There's probably a critical separator speed that this thing wants to run at, and I imagine that's for making that type of an adjustment. Get you in a little closer to this adjustment here, this tachometer. I'm going to call it a tach. They may call it a speed indicator, same thing in my book. But it's got a little handle on it, and you engage it into these threads here, and it runs like a worm gear. It's the only thing I can figure that's for. There's not a lot on the web about these as far as operating instructions and things like that. There's several pictures. Let me show you a picture of what this contraption is supposed to look like. Okay, so I brought you over here to the computer screen here, and here's a picture I found on the web. I believe this is from the Almond Auction Company site. Anyway, I appreciate those guys putting pictures on for us to view. But anyway, as we see here, here is the separator spouts. I do not have this part here. I do not have this. I do not have this tank. I do have the bracket that holds the tank, and I've got this cast iron piece. I don't think I have this drive shaft. There's a belt that wraps around the flywheel, a couple of idlers here, and this little ring there is a speed control. I do have that. And obviously this thing hasn't run for a little while, or he wouldn't have his hand on the muffler. But his has some of the original pinstriping on it too, so does this one. My belt is not quite that wide. This one, the fuel tank mounts underneath the mixer. On mine, it appears that it mounts on top. I'll show you that here in a little bit. But anyway, that's what the outfit looked like. This one's in fantastic condition. And missing this stuff. Don't know if I'll ever find it. These tanks can probably be made pretty easy. Looks like there's a couple of tie bolts going down through here to hold the tank on. And I think there's a little valve here that I think probably should be on this end, and that drum runs the milk down in here. And then the cream and skim are separated into different buckets from these two spigots here. Here's another picture I found on the web of a tag on an engine. This is probably what the tag looked like on this particular engine, which is, that engine there, I believe that's on Harry's site. Again, appreciate the images, Harry. This spigot here runs the milk in here, and then you set your buckets wherever you want to here. This looks like this particular model has the tank on top of the mixer. And most of these you'll see, that I've seen so far anyway, have the cutout in the flywheel for the belt to run in. Mine does not. Mine's just a straight across flat flywheel. So I kind of like that, in that it's a little bit unusual for this engine. And again, here's just some photographs that I took of the engine after I got it home, and we'll go over and take another look at it with a video here. But wanted to point out, this does have the original switch. This is an original wood battery box. The battery would go in this area right here and hook up positive and negative in here, and the battery would set in there. Let me see what else we've got here. There's a better picture of it. And kind of fortunate that all this woodwork is in there. I'll be real curious to get that apart and see what it takes to restore that wood, because I really like the original wood. And while we're here looking on the computer, this original detailing here, and here's some of the blue paint like we saw on that other engine. So I'm pretty sure this original color was blue as well. Some chatter on the web will tell you that they were black. I don't know if some of the earlier ones were black or later ones, not sure. This one appears to have been blue with that ornate decoration on it. And here's a fairly good photograph of what's left of the ornate decoration. There's one on each corner. And here again is some of the blue. So that's kind of a bright blue. Brighter blue than I like, but that's the way it was. So I'll hand hold you here for a little bit just to show you this bracketry. This is for that square tank sets. It's kind of nice to have this original bracketry. This is a cast iron tank that I think the impeller spun in there because it came up through here. This is all belt driven around the flywheel here and around these idlers. There's another one hiding over here somewhere. Where is he at? Let's see, there's one there. Oh, there's one here. This is the swinging idler, and this is the driven pulley, and it operates this shaft here that goes up into the bottom. There'll be some kind of a seal up in there, keep the milk from leaking out. And down here, somebody has written in crayon Standard on there, but there was an original decal here. Too bad that's gone. Looks like there may have been something said here as well. There's you a close-up of what's going on with the cylinder. Like I said, that's all loose. That cylinder base mounts down in there. So it does have a nice little flat pulley here with a rope start feature on it there. And I think we've probably got an issue here because this appears to be tight and this appears to be loose, so maybe it's wallowed the key out. Something like that may have to be fixed. But let me rotate it around here a little more. And we'll take a look up here at the top end. The old spark plugs broke off. That's no problem. This is a interesting oiler here. Glass is cracked and this is broken, so I'll find some glass for it. And here is the little trip pin that trips the ignition right here. Here's the old wire that Goes on the igniter points there. Fly ball governor. It's stuck like crazy. Everything on here is just stuck. It's nothing moves. There's a little glimpse of the rod down in there. Here's the thing that actuates the belt and starts and stops this shaft here. Rotate it around here a little more. I like these old-fashioned pipe fittings. You don't see them like this every day. And it appears that this muffler is a couple pieces. This looks like maybe a gasket here, and maybe you put a wrench over here and a wrench here, and you probably take that apart. I'll find out. The valves are stuck. I want to show you those here in a minute. And the mixer is a little different. Looks like, again, this is what's left of the tank that used to sit on top. This is the mixture control. Here's a linkage that goes to the governor arm. Here is probably the float tickler. This probably allowed you to run extra fuel in until it dripped out here and you knew it was primed, or I guess you could stick your thumb over it to choke it. But a lot of work to be done there. Let me get the head off of it here and show you. Here's a look down in the cylinder. It doesn't look too bad. Of course, I haven't been able to move the piston yet. I want to start soaking all that, trying to get that loose. And this flywheel and this crankshaft is really stuck. Looks like some main bearing adjusters here. Not sure if that's a bronze bearing or a Babbitt. We'll find out. This end comes off, and be able to get this out of here. Here's of course, this is a little cam, and this is a little cam follower here with a roller on it, and the roller does turn, so that's good. So I'll get that up, try to get that off, start getting some penetrating oil in there. Sort of a look at the rod and big end of the crank down there. Let's go over to the bench. Okay, I got you on a stand here. The bench is too clean, right? Time for another project, I think. So anyway, here we go. Let's take a look at this head. Okay, I've got to hand hold you again. Sorry for the shaky camera, but get you a better look here. Alright, I propped this up on a screwdriver so we can look at it real good here. Here's the valves. Check these out. They're modular construction. And they appear to be stamped steel and swaged on there. And this just hit with a hammer and kind of riveted on. They look okay. I've seen worse. So, you know, it's kind of a weird little valve, but obviously they work, so I'm going to use them if they're savable. Anyway, that's kind of the top side of the head, or the inside of the head there. But here's the bottom side of the mixer. It appears to be brass, so it should clean up pretty good. Be able to save it. So anyway, there's the overview of the Standard, and we'll get soaking on it, start getting it freed up and disassembled. Stay tuned. Okay, the first thing I do in a restoration is begin to get things wet. I want to get everything soaking, all the bolts, nuts and that kind of stuff, cylinder, and I don't know where this stuff's been all my life, but I recently started using this Croil, and I've never used anything like it before. I know a lot of you guys have already been on to it for years, and I just discovered it. My goodness, what a fantastic penetrating oil. If you haven't tried some of that, it's expensive. Get your billfold out, but my gosh, it's one of the few things in life that's really worth it. So I'm going to start soaking her down with Croil, and I usually let it set for a week or two. And again, this is the spring of the year, so I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and start restoration now or wait and do it as a winter project. Don't know for sure, but we'll just play that game as it comes to us. So first off, let's get her soaking.